The Southern Work by Ellen G. White. Section 1. Our Duty to the Colored People. There has been much perplexity as to how our laborers in the South shall deal with the color line. It has been a question to some how far to concede to the prevailing prejudice against the colored people. The Lord has given us light concerning all such matters. There are principles laid down in His Word that should guide us in dealing with these perplexing questions. The Lord Jesus came to our world to save men and women of all nationalities. He died just as much for the colored people as for the white race. Jesus came to shed light over the whole world. At the beginning of his ministry, he declared his mission. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he hath anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He hath sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty them that are bruised, to preach the acceptable year of the Lord. The Redeemer of the world was of humble parentage. He, the majesty of heaven, the King of glory, humbled himself to accept humanity, and then he chose a life of poverty and toil. For your sakes he became poor, that ye, through his poverty, might be rich. When one came saying, I will follow thee whithersoever thou goest, Jesus answered him, The foxes have holes, and the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man hath not where to lay his head. He, the majesty of heaven, depended upon the generosity of his followers. Jesus did not seek the admiration or applause of the world. He commanded no army. He ruled no earthly kingdom. He passed by the wealthy and honored of the world. He did not associate with the leaders of the nation. He dwelt among the lowly of the earth. To all appearances, he was merely a humble man with few friends. Thus, he sought to correct the world's false standard of judging the value of men. He showed that they are not to be estimated by their outward appearance. Their moral worth is not determined by their worldly possessions, their real estate or bank stock. It is the humble, contrite heart that God values. With him, there is no respect of persons. The attributes that he prizes most are purity and love, and these are possessed only by the Christian. Jesus did not choose his disciples from the learned lawyers, the rulers, the scribes, and Pharisees. He passed them by because they felt whole, as many feel in this age, and prided themselves on their learning and position. They were fixed in their traditions and superstitions, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. He who could read all hearts chose poor fishermen who were willing to be taught. He gave them no promise of large salary or worldly honor, but told them they should be partakers with him in his sufferings. Jesus, while in this world, ate with publicans and sinners, and mingled with the common people, not to become low and earthly with them, but in order by precept and example to present to them right principles, to lift them up from their low habits and manners. In all this, he set us an example that we should follow in his steps. Those who have a religious experience that opens their hearts to Jesus will not cherish pride, but will feel that they are under obligation to God to be missionaries, as was Jesus. They will seek to save that which was lost. They will not, in pharisaical pride and haughtiness, withdraw themselves from any class of humanity, but will feel with the Apostle Paul, I am debtor both to the Greek and to the barbarians, both to the wise and to the unwise.